Hello, this is Brennan Wilmington of the Left Turn Network, and welcome back to yet another LSCI race. This is race number 23 of the Lumen Stock Car Invitational season number 3, and we are here at the biggest, baddest racetrack in America. It's the 2.66 mile Talladega Super Speedway for our final plate race of the season. Well, it's kind of debatable how many plate races we ran this season. Some people would say 2, Daytona and Talladega. Some people would say 3, which includes Atlanta. And some people might even stretch it and maybe call it 4, which would include Oregon. But nonetheless, this is the last one we're running this season. And we're going to have 35 drivers here today duking it out for the win. We have the person who called both of those kind of plates, kind of not races earlier in the season. Darian Arnsdorf is back, and Darian, we all know what this is. This is Talladega, so give us a bit of what are you expecting to happen in this race?
I mean, it's Talladega. What can you expect other than massive accidents for the most part, you know? Like, the one guarantee for the most part you see at tracks like Daytona and Talladega is you see huge wrecks, huge packs, and amazing finishes. Are we going to see any of those? Who knows? But it's pretty typical that you'll see at least one of those things during a race here at Talladega.
Last year's race was crazy. It was the biggest upset in LSCI history. Simon Lawrenson entered in basically Andrew Kreider's backup car. Went out there and he dominated the race and he ended up winning. We only had one accident in that race, which was a pretty small one, so no big ones guaranteed in this race. It helps that this race is only 38 laps, so it's pretty short compared to a real life race. We will have a pit cycle, just like at Daytona, and Daytona did have a big accident with about 11 laps to go. So, this Talladega race is pretty similar to that. We used this Talladega for last year too, but I made some changes to the I&I between seasons, so it races differently now. But, yeah, this is going to be an exciting race. There will be one pit stop. Will it be under green or under caution? Who knows? There's a lot of unknowns heading into this race, and yet we still kind of have a little bit of an idea of what this race is going to be like. Akiya Tajima in the 99 making a late charge for the championship. He starts on pole today. Alongside him is the 20 car of Martin Swain, who I believe we last saw at Daytona. And he had a pretty good race going for him. I don't remember where he finished, but he was very good in his duel. He led all 20 laps in that duel. Then we've got one of, I believe, 2 drivers making their Cup Series debut. It's Haley Taps, the older sister of Corbin Taps, who's been lighting it up in the amateur series lately. This is her first Cup start. She's going to be driving in the 2 car, and of course her brother is in the field as well. So this is the first time that these two have raced each other in any capacity. So that's a pretty cool thing. There are a lot of pretty cool things here in this race. Alongside her is the 7 car of Lori Jackson. Row number 3 is the Double Eagle Racing Team coming back here with Cheryl Simmons and the 27 of Oscar Duval. Then we got the 45 of Rebecca Raymond and the 19 of Ryan Silva. The 81 of LaTanya Gray and the 98 of Kevin DuPont. We got McPicky Motorsports teammates Tyler Landry and the 16 of Corbin Taps. We got the 18 of Zach Dearman and the 77 of JT Boyd, who's also trying to make a late championship rally. He is your Rookie of the Year leader, as he has been for most of the season. And we got a couple of interesting cars back here. This is Mauricia Bebelst back in the 58 car. She struggled in her first 2 races in the Cup Series. In terms of finishes, she did good at Denver, but her crew kind of sold, so she ended up finishing last. And then she crashed out at Mosport. But she's back in the 58. She had a bit of an altercation with LaTanya Gray, and those two are pretty much rivals. So she had an altercation with LaTanya Gray in practice, ended up with LaTanya Gray crashing in turn number 3. So we'll see if that ends up coming back here in this race. Then we've got Ricky Bobby. Oh, I'm sorry. That's just Vinny Scholes in the 62 car. Riding solo today, Kate Summers, her teammate who won last week, did not make the race today. Continuing the trend of Kate Summers not doing so great the week after she wins. But Vinny Scholes is going to have to do it solo. No shake and bake here. So, yeah, she's going to have to do it by herself. We'll see what she can do from the middle of the pack. Lakin Hernan in the 39, and no, you're not seeing double. That is another Mobile 1 car. All 4 Columbia Motorsports cars will be running their Mobile 1 paint schemes, and they've changed the hoods, or the roof numbers of the cars, in order to make it easier to pick them apart. 36 car, Ashley Blake, starts alongside him. Then it's Simon Lawrenson, the defending winner of this race. He finally made a race here in the Cup Series. It's been since Atlanta in race number 4 that he's been in one of the races. Of course, he's attempted a couple races since then, but has not made the field. We'll see if Lawrenson can back up that win from last season. And then we've got the points leader, Tim Berry, in the 11, and you know he is definitely sweating right now. He's got a 28-point lead, so it's pretty comfortable, but one bad wreck and one good run from one of his championship opponents later, and he'd be behind the 8 ball, so he's definitely going to try and come into this race with a survival mindset. For sure. Joe Smith in the 88, this is his final race at Talladega. And the 01 of George Bryan starting alongside him, another championship contender. Billy Smith in the 3 car alongside the 57 of Shauna Everett. And then both the Harbins starting in the same row. It's James Harbin in the 50 in a brand new paint scheme alongside 55 of Michael Harbin. Karina Willis-Callaway in the 41 alongside Charlie McCarron in the 85. JB Chanot driving the 29 car alongside Lulu Connie, who almost won last week at Texas in the 25. Karina Willis-Callaway also won almost last week. A very heartbreaking finish at the end of that Texas race for the Connie Twins Motorsports camp. They got 3 cars in today's race, though, so they could definitely go for another win. Darren Walker in the 8 car alongside the 65 of Jack Gino. Then it's the 79 of Kobe Hollenbeck and the 5 car of Ellie Adams, who's the other driver making her Cup Series debut. And rounding out the field today is Holly Martin in the 6. This is going to be a crazy pack race here. Again, the last one of the season. Anything can happen. Really just any possibilities here. And I'm excited to get this race going. We remember Daytona. Daytona was pretty crazy, and we're expecting more of that craziness and then some here at Talladega.
I just want to say thank you to all of the lovely people at Columbia Motorsports for choosing to run all 4 Mobile 1 cars today at Talladega specifically. This is totally not going to be annoying at all to commentate.
Yeah, the spotters might have a difficulty with that, but the commentators especially are going to get them mixed up quite a bit.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the field will roll off of the Alabama Gang super stretch here at Talladega. Check to see everybody gets off all right. That 98 tire failure happened on the last attempt, so we're all good for now. And Darian, I know this is a very, very tough choice, especially at a track like this. Who do you think is going to win here today at Talladega?
Oh, God. You really can't make a good prediction. The best you can really do is just reach into a bingo cage and pull out a ball, and that's your answer. I'm going to go with my personal favorite driver this season. I'm going with the 01, George Bryan, to win today here at Talladega.
He's starting deep in the field, but the last time you picked George Bryan to win a race, he did. That was back at Milwaukee a few races ago. We'll see if that can happen again here. Pace car is going to pull off onto the pit lane. It will be Akiya Tajima and Martin Swain leading them to the green flag. And as we all know, the start-finish line here at Talladega is past pit entry out of the trioval. So that's about 1,000 more feet for these guys to work with while they run up towards the finish. And that's what they're going to do here on the start. Tajima and Swain will bring them to the green. We are racing here at Talladega. Coming out of turn number 4, here comes the 2 of Haley Taps in her first career start, trying to lead lap number 1. She's got the push from Rebecca Raymond, and she is gonna do it. What a feat for Haley Taps. Can she stay up there, though? They're going to go 3 wide for the lead already. It's lap 2, guys. Kevin Dupont on the inside. He wants the lap lead bonus. He needs as many points as he can get to catch up to the 11 of Tim Berry. And they are slicing and dicing for every position behind them as the 18 of Dearman getting a push from some fellow Fords, and we're going 4 wide already for the race lead. Looks like Landry's going to back off, though. Ashley Blake and Simon Lawrence, and on the inside, they avoid a disaster on lap 2. That would have collected the entire field. But the pack is very aggressive here early in the race. They're racing like it's 2 to go, not lap 2 of the race.
Yeah, we now see, here comes the 11 of Tim Berry, coming up on the inside, being pushed by the 3 of Montana Sherman. As they head down into turn 1, they're 4 wide behind him again. These guys don't know when to quit so far. We're on lap 3 of 38, 36 laps to go, and they're already racing like it's the very end.
Here comes Walker Brother Racing teammates Charlie McCarran and Darren Walker. Walker started all the way in the back. Ellie Adams is up here in the top 10. She started 33rd, and here she comes. And that's how quickly things can change here at Talladega. And we got a couple of Hondas up here. Barry's not even going to get the lap lead bonus. Karina Willis-Callaway will not either. You see her in the middle lane. She was up front for a bit, and Walker's going to try and beat McCarran to the line here. And he is. He had the help on the bottom. McCarran didn't have any help up top. Here comes Oscar Duvall, Ellie Adams, and Luana Connie in the 25, all leading that inside line. That line is formed up pretty good. There's more cars down there, so they've got more momentum coming down the back straightaway.
You typically see the inside line of these tracks be a lot more preferable to all the drivers, despite them going up to block a hell of a lot more here. As here comes Luana Connie down to the inside, couldn't get the run on Ellie Adams in the 5. 57, Shauna Everett on the inside, moving up in the 5th spot, ahead of the 55 of Michael Harvin.
These guys are calming down a little bit. Front 5, all single file, trying to break away from the pack. And as I say that, here comes Luana Connie on the inside of Ellie Adams. And this 25 car has been very strong in the last few races, despite the slow start to begin the year, which is very good news for the Connie Twins Motorsports Camp team. She could have very easily won both of the previous 2 races. She did win one of them at Phoenix, so this 25 is looking very, very fast. And this is a car that did not even make the race at Daytona, and neither did the 27 of Oscar Duvall, but they're up here regardless at Talladega. Kobe Hollenbeck, George Bryan, Ryan Silva, and Ricky Bobby all coming on the inside lane. Here comes Vinny Scholes in the 62, cracking the top 10 for the first time. Here comes Luana Connie going for 2nd as well. And Darren Walker's the first driver that we've seen today that's been able to hold the lead for more than 1 lap, or even more than part of a lap. And it looks like this 8 car might be an early favorite to win this race, because oftentimes the cars that are able to stay up front for longer have a better shot at winning at the end.
I don't know if I'd be too excited on that, because Luana Connie has got a rocket ship in that 25 car right now, as we see him 3 wide, a bit farther back possibly. That was going to be 3 wide for 2nd actually. George Bryan, Kobe Hollenbeck. But Hollenbeck gets down clear of the 01, and Hollenbeck will move into 2nd place behind the 8 car, so I can guess you could just say everything I just said is completely useless.
Here comes the 01 and 62, a bunch of Toyotas up here. 62 now goes up to the middle. Here comes Jack Gino and Cheryl Simmons in the 33. We saw at Daytona what this team is capable of. Even though it ended in a crash for her, she did some impressive things in both the duel and the race. And we're going 4 wide for 2 rows here. There is room for 4 wide at this racetrack, unlike Daytona. But you've got to be really careful not to slide up into the car next to you. Otherwise, that'll definitely cause a wreck, and this is a hot and slick track, so there's not much grip on it. It's 91 degrees here at Talladega. Here comes Bryan going for 2nd, but once again, he fails to get under the 79. And the 65 is going to have a run going towards the exit of turn number 4.
Here comes the 65 down to the inside, and now the 79, Kobe Hollenbeck for the lead. On the 8 of Darren Walker, George Bryan behind him trying to get a push. Now he goes back up top to push the 8. Now allowed a 65 of Gino to get underneath. Oh, but here comes a 7. Where did she come from? Lori Jackson She's going to go for third on the bottom here.
I'm not sure if you saw it.
Takes the lead.
I don't know if you saw it, but the 7, Lori Jackson, threw a huge block on Ashley Blake behind her. That's Checkered Flag Racing versus Blake Everett Motorsports right there. And the 36 is actually going to push.
Jackson.
The 36 is actually going to push the 7 into the lead here. But for how long? Meanwhile, they're 4 wide in the back. We're going to check the back of the field real quick. Everybody's still in the lead pack, although we have a couple of guys struggling here. Oh, man, 4 wide right here. Bouncing off each other, Ellie Adams, Corbin Taps. Chanel is going to fall back on the outside lane. But up front, we're 4 wide for the lead.
Yeah, this will end well, right, guys?
McCarran back in front. Jackson is going to get stuck in the 4th lane. The 79 is not going to let her in. And the 4 wide is going to get cycled further back. Here comes James Harbin in the 50 and the 45 of Rebecca Raymond. She's going to get a shove from LaTanya Gray.
Oh,
and
no,
we're
she
going to go
won't.
4 wide again for the lead.
Yeah, these guys I think have just given up on being normal at this point. LaTanya Gray into the lead. Now Luana Connie up to 2nd place. It's Ryan Silva on the inside line.
But Dearman is down there. All 3 of the Hudson cars are up here. And Silva's going to lead the lap just barely over his teammate, LaTanya Gray. And we're going to go 4 wide in front again. These guys are testing fade up. These guys are testing fade up here, as here comes the 2 Hudson cars on the inside, the 18 and the 19. The other Hudson car gets stuck up high, LaTanya Gray. Barry's back up here. Taps is back up here. And here comes Zach Dearman, now trying to get under his teammate for the lead. Oh my goodness, this race has been absolutely insane so far, and we're just getting started. It's lap number 10. There was more 4 wide in the field, but they sorted it out again. Very clean racing so far, although it's been very edge-of-your-seat kind of clean racing. Simon Lawrenson making up some spots on the inside with your Daytona winner, Billy Smith in the 3 car, and Martin Swain in the 20. Oh, big block thrown by the 18 of Dearman in front of Lawrenson, and that's going to shuffle him up to the middle lane as Billy Smith now approaches the back bumper of Zach Dearman.
I did not notice the 3 car was Billy Smith. I am sorry for my earlier mess up then, as here comes Smith on the inside. Big run coming for the 3 on the 18 of Dearman for the lead. Trying to take it into turn 3 and 4. He's got the push from the 16 of Corbin Taps on the inside. And then I believe that's the 65 of Gino right behind him.
Gino's going to look low and take it 3 wide for 2nd. And Billy Smith has found himself up in front once again. But it might not last for long. He's leaving the bottom lane open. Gino might have a path to get to the front, and here he comes. He's got the push from the pole sitter, Akia Tajima, Michael Harbin behind him, and Shauna Everett behind him. This is definitely turning into a cycle race. We saw Walker able to hold the lead for a few laps, but other than that, it's been constantly rotating who's been leading this pack. Kind of more of a traditional NR2003 pack race compared to what we saw at Daytona. And here comes Harbin and Everett with the run on the inside on the 65 of Gino. We might see them try and make a move off of 4 here. Here comes the 57.
One question I do have is, when are we probably going to see pit stops? Because that could be a huge deal in this race. With 26 laps to go as they cross the line, Jack Gino's still in the lead.
Oh, someone blew up in the pack. Is it Barry? It's Barry! Barry's blown up!
Oh no! What?
It's happened again! Mechanical lows for the 3rd time, and that's going to split the pack in 2.
Major championship implications here at Talladega. Tim Barry up in smoke, a 28-point lead, going to full bar in this race here today. Kevin DuPont now has a huge chance to go and take the championship lead with 5 races left after this one.
And we remember back at Kentucky, he had a tire failure from the lead. At Phoenix, he had a tire failure while running around the middle of the pack, and now he's blown up. He just cannot catch a break with the mechanical failures. He'd be so much higher in points if his car could just stay under him. Somehow the 29 of JB Chanel got to the front. That's the Season 2 Daytona winner. And here's she comes with the push from Everett, and look how much smaller the lead pack is because of that mechanical failure. Ryan Silva's in no man's land, but that really split the pack in half, and unless we get a caution, everybody in this back second part of the field is not going to have a shot at the win.
Yeah, this is a huge blow for this race for the most part, because now we have two packs instead of just one big one. And it makes it a lot harder, I think, for us to probably see a caution in this race until we get to pit cycles, potentially. As now, here comes the 20, down to the inside.
Martin Swain.
For the lead. Yeah, Swain, big run coming, and another one of the Columbia Motorsports cars. The 99 of a Kia Tajima. Now here comes the 43 of Simon Lawrence. He's going to look to make it 3 wide for second place.
3 of the Columbia cars are up here in the top 5. They're all 3 wide here. Oh boy, this is a spotter's nightmare. But we have 16 cars.
I think it's everyone's nightmare.
We have 16 cars in this lead pack. These are the 16 that are going to battle for the win unless we get a yellow. The 11's going to finish last. It was a piston failure. And you say Kevin DuPont was looking to gain some points. Look where he is. He's in the second pack.
Oh my goodness.
So he's capped on how many points he can get unless he can get that caution.
George Bryan's also down here in the 01.
Bryan is back here. The 66 of Landry's back here. So overall, this might not even affect Tim Berry all that much because almost all his championship rivals are back here. But you know who isn't back here? The 77 of JT Boyd and the 99 of Akira Tajima. The 2 Toyotas look like they're going to gain the most points on Berry if it continues like it is right now.
I was going to bring that up there. 4th and 5th in points. Boyd 54 back. Tajima 67 back. So this could be huge for them to make a big comeback. Because again, there is still 5 races left after today. The championship's still up in the air. So even with Tim Berry being out, even with Kevin DuPont and George Bryan being out in the back of the field, this could still be big for someone like JT Boyd and Akira Tajima. As here comes Dearman going back on the inside for the lead from Martin Swain. Billy Smith on the outside, Oscar Duval on the inside. Then you got Jack Gino being pushed by JB Chanot as they're going to go down to the inside as well as we start lap number 17 of 38 here at Talladega.
We are approaching halfway, and we're going to expect the pit stops to happen at around lap number 22 to 25. That's when they like to pit in that area. We saw them pit earlier at Daytona, and some of them didn't end up making it on fuel. We'll see if that ends up being an issue here. Of course, there were cautions in that race that might have messed with that, but we're clean and green so far on lap number 17, and again, with the pack split up almost directly in half like it is right now, it's less likely that there's going to be a big crash or something that would bring out a caution. So who knows? We might see a caution-free race here at Talladega, but never say never, because these guys have gotten very rowdy here in this race, and they're still getting rowdy up front. They're still going 3 wide and stuff, so by no means are we guaranteed to not have a caution here. But the 18 of Zach Dearman doing a good job out front. Here comes JT Boyd. He wants a bonus point for leading a lap. Walker's not going to help him, though. He's going to go to the top side. But the fellow Toyota in Tajima is going to try and get to him, but he gets blocked by Walker as well. But definitely not as much dicing around going on in this pack. Let's check our second pack. Oh, they're much more rowdy back here. They're 3x3x3.
Oh my.
And this is, you know, there's not much of a chance that they're going to catch the lead pack anyway all by themselves. 7.7 seconds back of the leader. But this is not helping their case at all.
No, this is probably the worst thing you should be doing right now. You need to be getting back in line. You need to be working together as they go 4 wide. Like, once again, just disregarding everything I could have said right there. Oh my goodness, guys.
Ellie Adams and Tyler Landry made some contact, but they stay green. Maybe their strategy is to cause the caution to get them back in it. I don't know. They were 4 wide there for a moment at the front pack. Oh, man.
Oh my goodness.
That was a tight moment there between the 55 and the 20. And are we going to see somebody pitting here? No, we're not. It looked like because they were going high, they might have been giving a lane for someone to pit, but no, nobody's pitting. And Darren Walker's found himself back in first in the 8 car. We saw what he could do for a moment there when he was up front before. We'll see if he can keep that going here. He's got a cavalry of Toyotas behind him trying to run him down.
I was going to bring something up. we're going with 77. If he can get the lap lead bonus in this race, either him or Tajima, it would be massive to get the bonus points from that, because I don't believe Tim Berry led a lap in this race. With him being in dead last in this one, that could be a huge difference in if you can make the comeback or not in the points.
I think you're right. Berry's going to get 1 point today. That's it. So even that extra 1 point you get from leading a lap could be all the difference for these guys. They're going 3 wide back here. If they keep battling each other like that, they're going to lose the draft, but I'm sure they'll sort it out. We saw that happen a couple of times earlier. But they're kind of calm at the front now, possibly preparing for pit stops within the next couple laps. And back at Daytona, we saw the beginnings of the first pit road cycle on a plate track. But, because remember, back in Season 2, we didn't have any pit stops on these kinds of tracks, and that was the same for Season 1. We saw the beginnings of it, but the 6 got turned around in the back, and we didn't see it go all the way through. Maybe this is the race where we're finally going to see that plate track pit stop get all the way through, as here comes the 79 of Kobe Hollenbeck with the push from Oscar Duval, and last place starter Holly Martin has found herself up in the top 5, and she's going to take him 3 wide for second, and here comes all the Mobil 1 cars, except the 39. JB Chanot's found her way back up here. She's got the push from Dearman, but Hollenbeck is firmly out in front now.
Yeah, Hollenbeck, big lead now over to 6 and Holly Martin. How sweet would it be for Holly Martin if she can go from last to first in this race, down in 30th in points? That'd be a huge comeback for that 16. As now here comes the 29 of Chanot trying to get a 1-2 going for Columbia Motorsports. And you see the 16 Corbin Taps up here, the rookie who's fighting with JT Boyd in the Rookie of the Year standings, but still 50 points back. Can't really make that up, I don't think. Although I say that JT Boyd's only 54 back at Tim Berry. So, you never know.
Definitely can make that up, but the fact that Boyd's also in this pack is going to hurt his chances of winning the Rookie of the Year battle. But Taps is definitely improving his chances of winning the race here by trying to take the lead. Both the Columbia cars went up the track. Here comes Corbin Taps. He's got the push from Jack Gino. JT Boyd behind him as well. Cheryl Simmons, of course. She's always up here when she's in the 33 car. I'd expect nothing less from Double Eagle Racing at this point. And of course, you can't count out Simon Lawrenson. He's still up here in this lead pack. He could still go back-to-back at this track. Oh boy, the 8 is going up the track. I think they might be getting ready to pit here. We'll see. The 3's down on the apron, and here we go. Here's the start of the cycle, and Cheryl Simmons is the first one to pit, and it'll be 6 from this pack, and also quite a few drivers from the second pack. That was close there. Oh man, the 62 and the L1 almost got together. But we got more takers from the second pack as well. Mostly Fords from the second pack with a couple Chevys and a Honda. And also a lot of Fords up here in this first pack. So maybe the Fords trying to undercut the field here. And unsurprisingly, these guys aren't even taking tires. They're just filling it up with fuel to make sure they can make it to the end. Looks like Michael Harvin might have pitted the previous lap. But all by himself. So JT Boyd now in front.
He's got a decision here at this track.
Boyd is now in front. Taps is going to stay out to try and get the lap lead bonus here.
He led the last lap, though.
He led the previous lap, though. I don't know. He's going to end up pitting all by himself.
If anyone should have stayed over, it would have been JT Boyd or Kia Tajima to get the lap lead, but they didn't take it. They're coming and they're thinking about the long run.
What is happening here?
More than anything. What in the world?
The 58, the 19, and the 2 got into a bottleneck there. That could have been a crash. But they keep it straight here. There you see the 16 side by side with the 55. Got to watch out for these guys merging onto the back straightaway. They're not up to speed. And Boyd and Chanot are drag racing each other out of the pits. Could we see a complete cycle here at Talladega? They're still trying to race each other out of the pit lane. But it looks like Chanot will have the advantage in the 29 car. Out of this group. Oh, Boyd is still trying to pass her, though, on the apron. I don't know. I don't think he's going to do it, though. 16 is now in. And I believe Lakin Herndon has yet to pit, I think. I'm not sure, actually. I think he did pit. But
The last two to pit were the 16 and the 36, I believe.
And they're both in now. So that will conclude the cycle once those guys finish their pit stop. So the effective leader right now is JB Chanot with JT Boyd in second. And then it's Gino, the 57 of Everett, the 43 of Lawrenson, Simmons, the 79 of Hollenbeck, and then Martin. And then these guys might lose the pack here. Darren Walker and the 55 of Michael Arvin. Then we got a couple more guys back here. The pack's all spread out now, except for back here where they're all bunched up. But I tell you what, if that lead pack gets smaller and that second pack gets bigger, the second pack will have a better chance at trying to catch them by the time this race is over. And here you see Taps leaving the pits.
I still don't know if like a big second pack will be able to catch 2 or 3 cars. I've seen it plenty of times where just a small pack of 3 or 4 can still pull away by a couple tenths per lap here. So I still am not completely convinced that we're going to have a huge finish here, to be honest.
In terms of a number of drivers in it, yes. Taps is still the leader right now, going through the tri-oval, but he's still not up to speed. Here comes the 77 and the 29. The 77's going to look low, though, not going to go with the fellow Toyota. He's going to try and split it 3 wide. And what did that get him? He's still behind the 29, so not much. But here comes the rest of these guys. Look at this. 57, 33, 43. Look at the run they've got. They're going to get down to the inside. And here you go. You've got this lead pack now. It's only 9 cars. You've got a second smaller pack here. And here's the main, I guess, biggest group, led by McCarron and Ellie Adams right now. But they're pretty disorganized still, so... and pretty far back from the leaders, so I think, again, it'll probably take a caution in order for them to get back in this. And they're going 3 wide for second back here in this lead pack.
Shauna Everett, Corbin Taps, JT Boyd, 3 wide for second as JB Chanot leads. Down to 11 laps to go here at Talladega. The 43, Simon Lawrenson on the inside as well. Trying to move up, he's up to 4th. Could he get to 3rd ahead of Corbin Taps as they round turn number 2?
He might. Here he comes down on the inside with help from Jack Gino. Hollenbeck all the way down to the double yellow line. Of course, you can't go down there to advance your position, otherwise you'll get penalized, but everybody's been doing a good job staying above that line. Lawrenson's up to 2nd. We'll see if he can make a move on JB Chanot for the lead. And here he comes, Simon Lawrenson, trying to get back to the lead here at Talladega. Can he win 2 in a row here at this racetrack? They're 4 wide behind the 6 and the 16 McKinney Motorsports teammates.
How do you go 4 wide in the 9-car pack?
They managed to find a way, and they kept it clean. The second pack is a little bit faster than the first pack, but they're 4 seconds back of the leader, so I don't think they can run them down without a caution. We'll see what they can do, though.
They
Oscar
only gained 2 tenths.
Oscar Duvall, Billy Smith, Michael Harvin, Tajima, Dearman, Walker, and Swain are all in this pack, and those are the drivers that were in the lead pack before the cycle that were not able to keep up after the cycle. So they're all trying to catch back up as Lawrenson. Lawrenson now has the lead with Simmons behind in 2nd.
Is there any possibility of us seeing this race as Cheryl Simmons goes for the lead on Simon Lawrenson?
You cut out mid-sentence there. What were you saying?
What is the chance you run into a lap car before the end of this race, we think?
Latanya Gray in 34th has lost the field dramatically, but she's still well ahead of these guys, so the chances are not very good in terms of running into a lap car, so it's probably gonna come down to these 9 unless we get a late yellow. Corbin Taps is now in the lead with the push from Shauna Everett. Holly Martin trying to make it a McPicky 1-2, now going down to the inside.
Bush coming from the 77, and now he's going to look inside. Can't get the run. Chanot trying to peek. Chanot going to look.
Ooh,
this is for the 4th position, I'm sorry. And Chanot could possibly move in the 3rd in all of this.
The second pack is trying as hard as they possibly can to catch up. They're 3.6 back. They are catching them. They're almost entirely in a line, save for the 8 and the 27. They're doing all they can to try and catch up, but I just think it's too much of a gap for them to actually get involved in this. And then the main pack is almost 10 seconds back the leader, so we can safely say all of them are out of it unless we get, unless we get a late yellow. But from the way they're racing, I don't think we're going to get a caution.
If that second pack in 10th on back can get up there to get a draft off of the last place car in this lead pack, they might just have a chance. You see the gap this time by. It was 3.7, it's now 3.4.
They're gaining
so it is going down. It's going to be... I think they might be like 2 seconds back by the end of this. I just don't know.
Yeah, they're only gaining 2/10 a lap. That's not enough. So it's going to be these 9 cars more than likely, and as we run more laps, it's getting more and more likely that if caution comes out, it'll end the race. So let's see. We'll focus here on this lead pack for the remainder of the race. If this goes green, here we go. Holly Martin is in front, Cheryl Simmons second, Lawrenson is in third, and then we have Chanot and Gino side by side, Boyd and Hollenbeck side by side, Everett and Taps rounding out the rear of this pack. Any one of these 9 can still win it.
They break away a little bit in the top 3, heading through 1 and 2. Holly Martin, Cheryl Simmons, Simon Lawrenson. This could be huge, especially for someone like Cheryl Simmons or Simon Lawrenson. Actually, Holly Martin as well. All 3 of these guys desperately could probably use a win in this season. As now, Lawrenson to the inside of Simmons, looking for a second position on the 33. As they go into turn number 3, the Smithfield 43 will move into second place behind Holly Martin, as here comes Jack Gino in the 65 for Diamond Motorsports.
Diamond Motorsports, of course, they already have 2 wins this season, but other than those 2 wins, they have been basically invisible this year. No matter who they put in the 58, it's been struggling, save for the win at North Wilkesboro with Simmons. And Jack Gino has not been doing that great either, so this could be a big win for this camp as well. As now the front 5 are all single file, almost the whole lead pack is single file. The 29 and 16 get shuffled to the back. And here comes Lawrenson down to the inside. He doesn't have the help. Simmons trying to go down there. Hollenbeck now trying to go down there. We'll see if he can get underneath the 43 as they get into turn 3. I don't think he's going to do it, though. Oh, he might. No! Martin blocks him going into the corner, and they're 3 wide for third behind. Lawrenson now has the 33 behind, and we know these 2 cars have been very fast. We'll see if they can possibly make a move here. Simmons does not want any part of it, though. She wants second for herself. She's going to get a push from Shauna Everett.
Launch S77 of JT Boyd. He won at Oregon earlier this season. And another one you can say is the style of this type of race. This could be a huge boost in the points if JT Boyd can get the win. He's going for third on the 33 of Sean Everett. He might look for second. He might make it 3 wide. No, Everett gets clear. But still, Boyd on the inside trying to get a run on the 57 as they head towards turn number 3. And not going to get there. Everett gets clear in the second place.
Look at this top 5. Remember back at Oregon, Holly Martin, Shauna Everett, JT Boyd, Lawrenson, Simmons. They were all drivers that were running up front and for the most part, finished up front in that race, and they're back up here once again at Talladega. So these drivers definitely have a knack for these kinds of racetracks. Martin's still in the lead. Everett trying to draft up to her back bumper. We got 3 laps to go here at Talladega. Lawrenson trying to hold off the pack for third. Corbin Taps making a move on the inside for fourth. That second pack's not going to catch him. It's going to be between these 9 drivers. They're not going to catch the lap car either. Let's see, will the 57 duck low going into turn number 3? Did she get enough of a draft to make a move? Lawrenson tried. Everett's going to block him. And they're single file up in the front 4, trying to break away from the rest of the pack. Taps got a big draft coming out of the corner, and now he's going to go for third on the 43 of Lawrenson, coming to 2 laps to go.
Corbin Taps yet to win in the LSCI. Can he get the win here at Talladega for his first career victory? At least I believe it'd be his first career victory. He's up to third. Behind the 57 of Shauna Everett. Cheryl Simmons in the 33, up to 4th. JB Chanot into 5th. Shauna Everett needs to get a run on the... You're coming up to this race. You need to make the move when you get it.
Here comes Taps to the inside. Just a reminder, 4 of the last 5 LSCI races have come down to the last 2 laps. We're inside the last 2 laps here. Taps has a big run through the corner. Is he going to keep that momentum going off of turn number 4 to try and get around his teammate? Here he comes to the inside. Corbin Taps underneath Holly Martin coming to the white flag. We're going to have 1 lap to go here at Talladega. JB Chanot trying to draft up to him. Martin will lead the lap. Who's going to get the most help, though? It looks like Simmons is doing a good job pushing the 6 on the outside lane. Oh, but here comes the cavalry on the inside. Chanot pushing the 16 of Taps. They're still pushing each other side by side down the back straightaway. No clear edge to either driver. Now Taps starting to peek the nose out in front. Chanot tucked behind the 16. Martin is fading on the outside. Chanot can still win it if she makes a move off of turn 4. Here she comes, looking to the inside. Lawrenson looked to the low. He's not going to get there. Taps is going to block JB Chanot. Corbin Taps at the 16 is going to get his first career win, and it's going to happen on a last lap pass at Talladega.
Oh my goodness, it's happened again.
5 of the last 6 races have now been decided in the last 2 laps. And that is a
Corbin Taps.
That is a huge win for Corbin Taps. It was a long time coming. He's gotten close several times, and it's happened here at Talladega. And that's gonna give him some momentum in the Rookie of the Year battle, for sure. How about that? What a win for that 16 camp. He's gonna go out there and take a victory lap with his teammate in tow. And Holly Martin.
Just look at that top 10 there. That is unbelievable.
Again, it's a lot of the same drivers that were up front at Oregon, which is very, very interesting. Again, those drivers seem to have a knack for the plate style of racing.
Yeah, this is a huge day for a lot of these guys. Corbin Taps able to get a big win, his first career win, as we said. Holly Martin, the momentum. She was 30th in points. She gets a 3rd place here today. JT Boyd finishes 8th, not as great as it could have been, but he was 4th in points coming into today. And with George Ryan, Kevin DuPont, Tim Berry being down in the back, this could be big for that 77 team.
Look at that. This race didn't even last 40 minutes. That's one of the quickest races we've ever run. Average speed of 191.222 miles an hour. I really think that Tim Berry Mechfail splitting up the pack kind of kept any crashes from happening. But yeah, that was still a great race regardless. Corbin Taps gets his first career win, and of course, this is the race where his sister is also in the race. Haley Taps, she finished back in 29th, but she led the first lap. So I guess you could say the Taps is bookended the field in terms of laps led. And Holly Martin, you gotta think, 3rd is great. 3rd is absolutely fantastic for that team. I'm pretty sure that is their best finish this season. But you gotta think, she could have won this race. She led at the white. And, you know, we always say Holly Martin's one of the best drivers in here that hasn't won yet, even though she hasn't really had the season to back it up this year, but just another win slipping away from her. Lawrenson and Simmons both in the top 5. I'm not even surprised the 33 gets a top 5 anymore. They're just so fast every time they run, especially on these plate tracks. It's just incredible what that team's been able to do. Simon Lawrenson, he's had a rough season in the amateur series. It's been a long time since he's been in a cup race. You got to think a 4th place is fantastic for him. That's going to be a confidence booster for that entire race team. We got the top 9 all finished in that first pack. Got the second pack in here. Darren Walker definitely had a shot of winning that race. I think he had the fastest car today, but he just got stuck in that second pack. There was nothing he could do. Mauricia Bebels finished highest out of the drivers in that 3rd pack, so that's pretty cool for the 58 team. That's the first race where Bebels hasn't had something stupid happen to her, unless you count, getting held up by the blowing up 41 or 11 car to be stupid. But yeah, what a race it was today. And Corbin Taps is the one getting it done in the end. And next week, we're going to go to our final road course of the season. That's going to be at Watkins Glen. And we know Watkins Glen, one of the best road courses in the game. Definitely going to put on a show today. Darian, what are you expecting for that race next week?
Oh man, Watkins Glen is such a tough race to predict. I think it is one of the most fun road courses in the entire country, and you just never know what you can really expect going into it. I mean, we saw last season, I believe, Tyler Landry absolutely dominated that race from start to finish. I don't know if we'll see something like that this season, but could definitely be a very fun race next time out at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, Landry led every single lap in the Watkins Glen race last season, despite the constant pressure from behind by Vinny Scholes. And, he's shown to be very good on the road courses. So he finished 23rd today. Also worth noting, Kevin DuPont finished 22nd to Tim Berry's, 35th. So he's going to gain points, but he's not going to get the points lead from it. George Bryan finished 19th. So all those guys that were chasing Tim Berry, except for the 77, all finished around the middle of the pack. So they're all going to gain a decent amount of points on him, but not enough to fully catch him. So Tim Berry, despite the last place finish, is still going to escape this race with the points lead. But this will definitely bring JT Boyd and potentially Akira Tajima closer into that championship battle as we entered the final 5. But there's still quite a bit of ways to go. This championship, Tim Berry's been leading it most of the way, but there's still been so many twists and turns thrown at it. Just imagine, if Tim Berry doesn't blow up here, if he doesn't have the tire failure at Phoenix, and especially if he doesn't have the tire failure at Kentucky, he'd be up by more than a race by now. And it's just been bad luck biting the 11, despite clearly far and away being the best driver in the field this year. But, it's just enough of that bad luck just keeps everybody behind him in it. And they got to be capitalizing on those misfortunes when they happen. And I think considering what happened, they capitalized about as well as they could have. I mean, 3rd in that pack, 6th in that pack. That's pretty good for those two, considering the circumstances. Well, that's going to do it for today's race. Once again, congratulations to Corbin Taps on his first career Cup win. And that's a big win for him. I know Caleb's going to be happy to see his driver going to victory lane. He won it by 0.07 of a second over JB Chanot. So one of the closer finishes we've seen in the LSCI for sure. And congratulations to Taps and that whole McPicky Motorsports team. I believe that means McPicky Motorsports, that's their 3rd win of the season. The other 2 both came with Tim Berry. So that's good for them. And that's going to do it for today's race. Thank you, Darian, for coming and calling this race with me. It's always a pleasure having you in the booth. And on behalf of
Always fun being here.
On behalf of him and myself here at the Left Turn Network, this is Brendan Wilmington, signing out.